Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're traveling back to 2009, a very special year in American coinage, because that was the year the United States Mint released 4 different designs celebrating the life of Abraham Lincoln. And the first one, the one we're talking about today, takes us right back to his humble beginnings, his birth and early childhood in Kentucky. Now, if you've ever held one of these coins in your hand, you know how simple yet meaningful the design truly is. On the reverse side, you see a small log cabin, the kind of home Lincoln was born in, out in the rough Kentucky frontier. It's not grand, it's not fancy, but that's exactly the point. It represents the modest start of one of America's greatest leaders. On the obverse, of course, we still have Victor David Brenner's classic portrait of Lincoln, a design that's been on our pennies since 1909. That combination of old and new makes the 2009 cents feel really special, but what about rarity, you might ask? After all, these coins were minted by the millions, so why should collectors care? Well, here's where things get interesting. Most of these coins went straight into circulation and were handled daily, tossed in pockets, scratched, and worn down. Finding one in bright, untouched condition, what collectors call uncirculated or mint state, is not as common as you'd think, especially as years go by. The demand for pristine examples has only grown. Even more exciting are the error coins from this series. Some of the 2009 birth and early childhood cents show doubling on the lettering or on Lincoln's profile, something known as a double die error. Others have striking mistakes where the design looks slightly off-center, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet. These errors are the real treasures, because no two are exactly the same, and they instantly turn an ordinary cent into a highly collectible rarity. Collectors hunt for them with passion, because an error coin tells the story of something that slipped through the cracks of the minting process and survived against all odds. Another thing to remember is that 2009 wasn't just any year, it marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, which means the mint went the extra mile to honor him. That historical connection makes these coins more than just change, they're commemorative pieces tied to American heritage. People who collect Lincoln memorabilia, not just coin collectors, want these coins too, which drives their desirability even higher. So the next time you come across a 2009 Lincoln penny with that little log cabin on the back, take a close look. Check its condition carefully, inspect the details with a magnifying glass, and see if there are any unusual features that might make it stand out. Because while most are worth just a cent, the right coin in the right condition can be worth a whole lot more. And now for the part you've been waiting for, the value. A regular 2009 birth and early childhood cent in worn condition is just a penny, of course, but in mint state condition, collectors have paid impressive sums. Some uncirculated examples have sold for several $100s, while rare double die errors and top-graded pieces have crossed into the thousands. In fact, at auction, one of the finest known examples brought in over $2,000. Yes, you heard that right. What started as just a single cent in 2009 has sold for more than $2,000 today. Top 2, we are going to take a closer look at the 2009 Lincoln 1-cent coin known as the Formative Years in Indiana. This coin is part of the special 4-coin series that celebrated the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and each one tells a chapter of his life. The Formative Years design shows Lincoln as a young boy sitting on a log, reading a book, with his hands resting on a rail splitter's tool. It's a powerful image, because it represents not only his education and hard work, but also the simple roots that shaped the man who would become one of America's greatest presidents. Now, you might think this coin is common because millions were produced, and you'd be right. But the story doesn't end there. While most of these pennies went into circulation, getting scratched and worn, collectors are hunting for those that survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. A bright, sharp, mint state coin stands out, and that difference in quality can mean the difference between pocket change and a valuable collectible. But what really makes the 2009 Formative Years penny exciting are the errors. This particular design is famous for having multiple double die varieties. On some coins you can see extra fingers on Lincoln's hands, what collectors call the extra thumb or sixth finger error. Others show doubling on his hand gripping the book or even unusual spreads on the details of the log. These dramatic double die errors are some of the most popular among modern Lincoln cents, and collectors will pay high premiums for them, and that's not all. There are coins struck slightly off-center, or with weak strikes that left details missing, and those also add to the rarity. Even small minting mistakes can transform a normal 2009 penny into something that collectors will treasure. The thrill of finding one of these errors is exactly what keeps coin lovers searching through rolls of pennies to this day. Remember too, the formative years cent is not just another penny, it carries historical weight. It represents Lincoln's boyhood in Indiana, a time when his character and values were being shaped. That emotional connection, combined with the unique design, makes it especially attractive for people who collect Lincoln memorabilia. It is a coin that doesn't just sit in an album, it tells a story every time someone looks at it. So if you have a jar of 2009 pennies, don't overlook them. Take a close look under good light, maybe even a magnifying glass, and check Lincoln's hands carefully. What might seem like an ordinary coin could actually be a rare variety worth much more than face value. And now, for the part you've been waiting for, the value. While most 2009 formative years pennies in worn condition are worth just 1 cent, uncirculated examples in high grades can bring in strong collector prices. Some of the double die error varieties, especially those showing extra fingers or thumbs, have sold for hundreds of dollars. And at major auctions, the finest graded examples with dramatic doubling have even reached over $1,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. What began as a single cent in 2009 has sold for more than $1,000 today. Top 3, we are going to talk about the 1993 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that many people overlook because it looks so ordinary. But once you understand the details, the errors, and the rarity of certain examples, you'll see why collectors still search for these pennies carefully. The 1993 Lincoln cent might look simple at first glance. On the front is the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been used since 1909, and on the back you see the Lincoln Memorial, which had been the reverse design since 1959. By 1993, the design was so common that people barely noticed it anymore. But hidden in that simplicity are opportunities for collectors, because condition, varieties, and errors can make a world of difference. One thing that makes the 1993 penny interesting is that it was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint was still using the copper-plated zinc composition. This composition is prone to plating bubbles, cracks, and weak spots, which means coins from the 1990s often have small imperfections that can either lower the value or, if the flaw is dramatic enough, turn it into a collectible error. That's why when collectors go through rolls of 1993 cents, they pay close attention to the surface for unusual features. Now let's talk about the errors and varieties that make the 1993 penny truly exciting. One of the most famous is the double die obverse, where parts of the lettering, like Liberty or In God We Trust, show clear doubling. Another popular one is the wide AM variety found on the reverse in the word America. On some 1993 cents, the letters A and M are spaced farther apart than usual, and this small difference makes it a rare and valuable variety. Collectors are always on the hunt for those wide AM coins because they were not supposed to appear in circulation that year, and mistakes like this stand out. In addition to those, off-center strikes are another dramatic error worth mentioning. Imagine Lincoln's portrait shifted to one side with a blank crescent of copper showing on the other side. It's eye-catching and instantly collectible. There are also die cracks, cuds, and plating errors, all of which add uniqueness and sometimes significant value to what started as just 1 cent, but condition still matters the most. The truth is that the majority of 1993 pennies are worn down, spotted, or damaged from years of circulation. Those coins are usually just worth face value. However, finding a coin that has survived in mint state condition, with its original luster shining and no scratches or spots, is much harder than people realize. Collectors pay serious attention to grade, and the finest examples graded by professional services can bring in impressive results. So the next time you see a 1993 penny in your change, don't ignore it. Take a close look, check the reverse for that wide AM, check the front for any doubling, and check the overall condition. You might just be holding a little treasure that most people would pass by without thinking twice. And now for the part you've been waiting for, the value. A regular 1993 Lincoln cent in average condition is only worth 1 cent, but in mint state condition, collectors have paid prices in the range of several dollars. The rare wide AM variety and strong double dies can climb much higher, sometimes reaching hundreds of dollars depending on grade. And at auction, the finest known examples of the 1993 penny, especially error coins in superb condition, have sold for more than $1,000. Yes, that's right, what looks like just another penny from 1993 has sold for over $1,000 at auction. Top 4, we're going to look closely at the 2002 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a piece of American history that many people overlook. At first glance, it might look like just another modern penny, but collectors know better, because when it comes to coins, rarity, condition, and errors can turn something ordinary into something truly valuable. The 2002 Lincoln cent still carried the classic design we all know so well. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait, first created by Victor David Brenner back in 1909, and on the back, the Lincoln Memorial, which had been the reverse design since 1959. Millions of these coins were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, so most people assume they're common and not worth collecting. But that's where the real's story begins, because hidden among those millions are rare examples and unique varieties that collectors spend years searching for. One of the first things to look for on any 2002 penny is its condition. Most of the coins you'll find in your pocket or in circulation will be scratched, worn, or spotted, and those aren't worth much. But when you find one in pristine, mint state condition, with its original shine and no marks, that's when collectors start to take notice. High-grade examples can be surprisingly valuable because fewer and fewer survive without wear, but the real excitement comes from the errors and varieties. The 2002 penny is known for some dramatic double-die varieties, where parts of the lettering on the obverse, like Liberty or In God We Trust, show clear doubling. Some even show doubling on Lincoln's eye or the date itself. These are rare and highly collectible, because they prove something unusual happened during the minting process. Another important thing to watch for are coins struck slightly off-center, where part of the design is missing and a blank crescent of copper is visible. These kinds of errors are obvious and fascinating, and collectors will pay a strong premium for them. There are also die cracks, cuds, and plating errors that can make each coin unique. Since pennies of this era were made from copper-plated zinc, they are prone to plating bubbles and peeling, which in extreme cases can actually create collectible error coins. Some of the most famous 2002 errors involve misaligned dies, where one side of the coin doesn't quite match up with the other, leaving an unusual appearance. Others are even struck on the wrong planchet, which is incredibly rare and exciting. These one-in-a-million mistakes are the kind of coins that end up making headlines when they're discovered. Collectors love the 2002 Lincoln penny because it represents that late stage of the memorial reverse design, which was eventually replaced in 2009 with the bicentennial designs. That makes every coin from the early 2000s feel a little more important now, because they are part of the closing chapter of a long design era. So the next time you spot a 2002 penny in your change, don't just pass it by. Look carefully at the details, check for doubling, inspect the surfaces, and if you see something unusual, hold on to it. What looks like an ordinary cent might actually be a hidden treasure. And now for the part you've been waiting for, the value. While most 2002 Lincoln cents in circulated condition are worth just a penny, uncirculated examples in high mint state grades can sell for several dollars. Dramatic double die errors, strong off-center strikes, and rare wrong planchet coins can climb much higher, with some selling for hundreds of dollars. And at auction, the finest known examples of the 2002 penny with rare errors have sold for over $1,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, a coin that started as 1 cent in 2002 has sold for more than $1,000 today. Top 5, we are going to talk about the 2006 Lincoln penny, a coin you've probably seen countless times in your pocket change, but one that holds more surprises than you might think. Many collectors dismiss coins from the 2000s as being too modern, too common, or too ordinary. But the truth is, when you start paying attention to condition, mint marks, and rare errors, even a coin from 2006 can transform from a single cent into something truly valuable. The design in 2006 was still the classic look we've all grown up with. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, created by Victor David Brenner, unchanged since 1909. On the back, the Lincoln Memorial, which had been the reverse since 1959. By 2006, the memorial design was nearing the end of its long run, soon to be replaced in 2009 by the bicentennial designs and then by the shield cent in 2010. That makes the 2006 penny one of the last chapters in the memorial series, a design that ran for half a century. For collectors, that historical context already makes it more interesting than it seems at first glance, but let's dig deeper into what makes the 2006 penny rare and exciting. First, condition is key. Most of the coins you'll find in circulation today will be scratched, worn, or spotted from handling. But a coin that has survived in pristine, uncirculated condition with full luster and sharp detail is much harder to find. Collectors pay close attention to these higher-grade coins, and the very best examples, those graded at the top levels by professional services, are worth far more than face value. Then there are the errors and varieties, which are where things get really interesting. The 2006 penny is known for having double die obverse varieties, where parts of the lettering or even Lincoln's features show signs of doubling. When you look closely at Liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," or the date, you may see a shadowy, doubled image. These coins are instantly more valuable because they are the result of mistakes during the die-making process. Another type of error collectors chase is the off-center strike, where part of the design is shifted, leaving a blank crescent on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more collectible it becomes, especially if the full date is still visible. Die cracks and cuds, raised lines or blobs of extra metal caused by broken dies, also appear on 2006 pennies, and some of them are quite dramatic. Since these errors are random and unintentional, no two coins are exactly alike, and that uniqueness gives them strong collector appeal. Because these pennies are made from copper-plated zinc, plating errors are also something to watch for. Sometimes the thin copper layer bubbles, peels, or fails to cover the surface evenly, creating coins with unusual textures or exposed zinc spots. While minor flaws lower value, dramatic plating errors can be collectible. And in rare cases, coins from this year have been discovered struck on the wrong planchet, such as dime or foreign blanks. Those mistakes are among the most valuable of all because they are so rare. So, even though the 2006 penny might look like just another cent, the truth is that hidden among the millions are rare gems, coins with pristine condition, unusual errors, or varieties that collectors would love to own. That's why you should always take a second look at your pocket change, because you never know when one of these little treasures might show up. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the value. While most 2006 Lincoln cents in circulated condition are worth just 1 cent, uncirculated examples in mint state grades can sell for a few dollars each. Dramatic double dies, strong off-center errors, and rare planchet mistakes can climb into the hundreds. And at major auctions, the very finest known examples of the 2006 penny with spectacular errors have sold for more than $1,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin that started as a single cent in 2006 has sold for over $1,000 at auction. Top 6. We are diving into one of the most exciting modern pennies that has shocked collectors for years, the 1992 United States Lincoln 1-cent coin. At first glance, this little coin might look like just another ordinary penny from the 90s, the kind you'd easily overlook in your pocket change. But the truth is, some 1992 pennies are hiding secrets worth thousands of dollars, and that's exactly what makes this coin so fascinating to collectors everywhere. The 1992 penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series, which ran for decades. On the front, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, and on the back, the classic Lincoln Memorial. Nothing looks unusual, right? But as we've seen many times in coin collecting, it's the smallest details that can make the biggest difference, and here is where the excitement begins. In 1992, both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint accidentally struck a small number of pennies using a reverse design that wasn't supposed to be used until 1993. On these coins, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse are much closer together than normal, almost touching. This is what we call the close AM variety. Finding one of these is like striking gold for a collector, because they are extremely rare and valuable. Now imagine this: billions of pennies were made in 1992, but only a handful have this close AM design. That means the odds of finding one are tiny, but they're out there, waiting to be discovered. People have found them in circulation, in change jars, and in rolls of pennies from the bank. That thrill of possibility is what keeps collectors searching day after day. On top of that, you also have the exciting world of mint errors. Some 1992 pennies show doubled dies, where parts of the date, mint mark, or lettering appear doubled under magnification. Others have die cracks, cuds, or even off-center strikes. Each error adds uniqueness, and for collectors, these little imperfections can make a coin far more desirable than a standard strike. So, what does all of this mean for value? Well, let's break it down carefully. A normal 1992 penny with no errors or varieties is just worth its face value of 1 cent, and in uncirculated condition it may be worth a few cents or a couple of dollars at best. But the rare 1992 close AM from Philadelphia has sold for over $20,000 at auction. And the even rarer 1992 D close AM, struck at the Denver Mint, has been known to sell for more than $30,000 in top condition. That's right, a tiny design difference between two letters can turn a 1-cent coin into a small fortune, and that's what makes the 1992 Lincoln penny so thrilling. It proves that even modern coins you see every day can carry surprises worth life-changing amounts of money. So the next time you come across a 1992 penny, don't just toss it aside, take a close look at the back, because you might just be holding a hidden treasure. Top 7, and last rare coin, we are going to talk about a coin that might seem common at first glance, but for collectors, it holds some really interesting surprises. I'm talking about the 1989 United States Lincoln 1-cent coin. Yes, the good old penny from the late 80s, the kind of coin that millions of people carried in their pockets without ever realizing that some of these could be worth much more than just 1 cent. This little coin might be hiding in your change jar, in your dresser drawer, or even in an old coin roll, and you'll definitely want to hear why it can be such a big deal for collectors. The 1989 penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 all the way to 2008. On the front, or obverse, we see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has lasted for more than a century. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo, which became iconic in its own right. By 1989, this design had already been around for 30 years, but the coins struck in that year still carry stories that collectors find fascinating. One reason the 1989 penny is so interesting is because of its place in U.S. coinage history. Just a few years earlier, in 1982, the composition of the penny had been changed. Instead of being made mostly of copper, pennies from 1982 onward were struck in copper-plated zinc. This meant the 1989 penny is not solid copper, but has a thin copper coating over a zinc core. While most people never notice the change, collectors know that the difference in composition can make coins behave differently over time. Some 1989 pennies, for example, can show bubbling, plating issues, or other unusual marks because of the way the copper clings to the zinc, but what really excites collectors are the rare errors and varieties. For the 1989 penny, one of the most notable finds are double die errors. These are coins where parts of the design appear doubled, often seen in the lettering, the date, or even in Lincoln's features. A double die penny can easily catch a collector's eye, and depending on the strength of the doubling, it can carry a significant premium. Another type of error seen on 1989 pennies is off-center strikes. These happen when the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, leaving part of the design missing or shifted to the side. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes. There are also clipped planchet errors, where the coin appears to have a chunk missing, as well as die cracks, where raised lines appear on the coin due to wear in the die. Each of these makes a coin unique, and uniqueness is exactly what collectors love, and let's not forget about condition. Millions of 1989 pennies were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, so finding a circulated one isn't hard. But finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition, with no scratches or wear, is much more difficult. Collectors will always pay more for coins that have been carefully preserved, and for the 1989 penny, high-grade examples are absolutely worth holding onto. So now, the part you've been waiting for: how much is a 1989 penny really worth? Well, a regular circulated example is usually just worth its face value, a single cent. But in uncirculated condition, they can sell for a few dollars. When it comes to errors, the story changes dramatically. A strong double die from 1989 can bring in hundreds of dollars depending on condition. Off-center errors and clipped planchet varieties can also sell for high prices, sometimes reaching over $500. And in the rarest cases, some of the finest, high-grade 1989 pennies with unique errors have sold at auction for more than $1,000. So the next time you come across a 1989 penny, don't brush it off as just another common coin. Take a close look, check the lettering, the date, the reverse design, and even the edges. You never know, that ordinary-looking penny could actually be hiding a valuable error or be in a condition that makes collectors go wild. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. If you enjoyed learning about the 1989 Lincoln penny and its hidden secrets, make sure to hit that like button, leave me a comment if you've ever found an error coin in your change, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos about rare and valuable coins. Who knows, the next coin you find could be worth a fortune. Until then, keep hunting, keep collecting, and may your next penny be a treasure.